Hello, my name is Phyllis Shelton, and I want to congratulate you for responding to Susie Orman, any number of high profile financial professionals who are urging you to plan for long term care. This is an especially important issue for women and especially for single women. So many of us have precious children that we care about. We have spouses, we have partners, we have families that we care about, and we want to be independent. We want to maintain a quality of life as we age. And that's what we're all about right here at God LTCI. In fact, my mission, my ministry is to help families plan for long term care. Now, I want you to have individual, customized attention. We are not a quote shop. We are not a cookie cutter. I like to say we are a boutique because we work with every family individually. We learn what your needs are. We figure out what type of policy you need. Maybe it is a traditional policy. Maybe you want one with a death benefit if you never need care, or some type of annuity benefit. There are so many options. But before we get into that, I want to take a couple of minutes and just give you some basic education that everybody needs to understand to go down this road. So, we're going to talk about what long term care really means. So, the definition of long term care is you could need care physically or mentally. And if you need care physically, you are expected to need help with at least two of the basic six daily living activities. So, let's think about that. What do we all do every day? Bathe, dress, transfer. That just means moving from point A to point B, this chair to that chair, eating, toileting, and continence. Now, you have to be expected to need help with at least two of those for at least 90 days. So think about that. It's not a broken hip, broken leg, broken arm. No, but you could be hit by a driver. You could fall off the roof of your house. That happened to one of my friend's husbands. You could break a couple of legs, a hip, and need care for 6 or 7 months and recover. That is still a long term care insurance claim. And on that note, couldn't anybody have an accident of any kind ending that kind of care at any age? The other way is mental, and that would be a cognitive impairment that is to the point where it is not safe for you to be alone. Now, we all think of Alzheimer's. Couldn't it be a brain tumor? Couldn't it be a head injury from a bad fall? Any number of things could cause you to be in that situation. And a big reason why people need long-term care would be strokes. And in fact, 1 out of 3 people who have a stroke every year is under age 65, and that is on the Center for Disease Control website. I think we all know somebody in that situation. So here's the good news, though. Most of this care is not in a nursing home. Less than 15% of the people that need this type of care are in nursing homes. Where are they? Mostly at home, right? Most people don't even transition out of home. But if they do, they generally go to now an assisted living facility. And some of those look like country clubs. And to think about it, an assisted living facility, there's no upkeep for a home. They cook for you, they clean for you. Couples can stay together. They don't charge a lot for the other person. So there's a lot of benefits to this type of care. Also, assisted living facilities today can take care of memory care. Now, it's usually a separate location, pay more, but it's still a way to keep people out of nursing homes. And sometimes home care is combined with adult daycare. One of my dear clients was able to keep his wife at home for a couple of years, and he would use adult daycare for her, and he would go play golf and continue his life. And then when she needed more care, she did have Alzheimer's, he admitted her to the nicest nursing home in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And his friends would say, "How can you afford to have Helen there?" And he would say, "Well, I can afford it because one day, many years ago, this woman named Phyllis Shelton came to our house and sold us this long-term care insurance." And then he said something I'll never forget. He said, my most important asset is not my money. It is my beautiful wife, Helen. And the fact that I can take care of her this way means more to me than anything money could ever buy. And you can watch that video on my website. It's only 4 minutes, but get your tissues out. You will tear up. But that's an example of how insurance kept that family together. When we talk with you, we will ask you where you live or where you plan to wind up in retirement, because knowing the cost of care is so essential. You know, I've never had a complaint, and I think it's because I think so much about the future. And I don't ever want a family to be disappointed that their policy is not paying what they thought it would. So let me tell you how I do that. I've already told you that most people are not in a nursing home. So rather than planning toward that higher cost, I look at the cost of an assisted living facility, but I kind of look at a nice one, more like country club, okay, which means usually adding maybe $1,500 to whatever the average shows up on the websites that publish the cost of care. But I also know if I do that, that's going to pay a significant amount of home care, maybe even 8 hours a day, something like that. So here's an example. Let's say that a really nice assisted living facility in your area was $6,000 a month. And I am very strong about using 5% compound for inflation, for the cost of care. So far, it's played out. And I've been in this a long time, folks, since 1988. So at that rate, that amount will double every 15 years. So in 15 years, it'd be $12,000 a month. In 30 years, it'd be $24,000 a month. A lot of money, right? But if you look at that and sort of plan toward that amount, and then if you did need nursing home care as a last resort, that you could fund out of your savings. The other thing we can do, we have certain policies, and they're called long-term care partnership policies, and you buy what you can afford. And if it's not enough, you can turn to the state and get the Medicaid program to help you, as long as you meet the physical and cognitive requirements of the state. But it's a way to keep some assets and be private pay as long as possible. Now, the kind of care we're talking about, folks, that is common. I want you to think about this. If you go around your neighborhood, knock on every door, and ask the person there, hey, do you know anybody who's ever had a house burned to the ground? Probably not going to get a lot of answers. But if you say, is there a caregiving situation in your family somewhere? How many answers do you think you're going to get then, right? Yeah, it's really, really, really common. And, you know, people used to tell me in the early days, oh, we don't need that insurance because our kids will take care of us. Well, guess what? You know, the kids, that's who we're talking to today. And some of you know exactly what I mean. You've done it. You took care of your parents. You got a divorce. You couldn't spend time with your grandchildren. You weren't able to pursue the career you always wanted to pursue. So think about the strain. Think about the strain. And really, I can give you a little more input on this. The odds of people needing care, greater than 50%, higher than that for women. And I always like to know, how long do people need care? If they need care longer than a year, and the Society of Actuaries reports it's close to 4 years for men, closer to 5 years for women. That's a long time. So think about the strain on the family. Men, I have to talk to the men for a second. Men say, oh, my wife will take care of me. Yeah, like, when is the last time she picked you up? Does she ever sleep? So if you want to take care of your wife, you get a policy on yourself, okay? Because if statistics play out, and that's not always true, but if they do, the man usually needs care first, and then it is an awful strain on the wife. So think about that and plan together. Policies are different today, and they're gender rated. Most of them are, which means women cost more because more women use long-term care insurance than men, way more. But there are still companies with wonderful couples discounts. So this is something you want to do if you are part of a couple, if at all possible. And we even have ways to help people who do have significant health problems today. So many, many new options. Word to single women. If we are alone and we start needing help, bathing, dressing, maybe getting around, even if we had home care 12 hours a day, what are we going to do for the other 12? So, safer to be in one of these country club assisted living facilities. And you know what? The newer ones, many of them, you can even have your pet, you can have plants. They're just so much better. So it's such a wonderful alternative. And hey, if we're alone and not feeling well, we can get depressed, right? So this way we could have company, and it's where you can be private if you want, you can mingle with others, but it could be good for us mentally and spiritually as well. Okay, call to action, folks. I need you to go to the link on this page and hit it for a personal, no obligation consultation. That will take you to a short questionnaire, take you a couple minutes to fill that out. And then you will get to meet with one of my wonderful team. Their bios are on this website. You can read about them. But I do have to tell you that due to high demand, all current requests for no obligation personal long-term care consultation will be handled by my team. Now, Susie Orman has only personally recommended me, Phyllis Shelton, but I can tell you from my heart of hearts that I have the utmost confidence in my team. They're highly trained, they're qualified experts, and they can continue offering you the very best long-term care insurance information and resources available in our industry. But most important, congratulations on planning. This is something that, yes, it's about you, but it's typically more about your family. And long-term care insurance is a wonderful way to protect your family. And that's something we all care about.